Hi everyone! With the 3.0 update, there's a lot of new things that came out for the game recently. One of them is Herta. There are also something that you unlock at the end of the game, and there are new terms. If you haven't played the 3.0 update yet, I would recommend after Herta to pause it, play it, and then come back to it so I can read it to you. You don't have to read it yourself then. As you can see, Herta modeled a lot of her the dolls and things like that. I was going to say dergelijke. She modeled the dolls after herself. This is the Herta doll. As far as I remember, she is the first character in this path. So I'm going to go to the databank. Characters. Erudition. Oh no, she's not the first one. I think the next one that comes out is the first one. So this is Herta. She's with the space station, and you'll also encounter her in the story that's happening in 3.0. So first things first, the character details. Genius Society number 83, Madame Herta, resides deep within the clock tower at the edge of the cosmos, pursuing the ultimate mysteries of the universe as a sorceress. Thanks to de-aging technology, she maintains a youthful appearance. Disliking mundane affairs, she typically delegates such tasks to her puppets, the ones that I showed you before. Character story. Profile number. Blank. Curio name. Genius Childhood Kaleidoscope. Warning, do not look into it. Do not look into it. Do not look into it. Do you really want to see? Are you sure? Never mind, you've already scrolled this far down. I won't take responsibility for what happens to you. Curio file, Genius Society number 83. Madame Herta's private collection within the garden providing technical support. A memory slice only designed for the person involved to relive a beautiful life or time in a first-person POV. Warning, dangerous item. Do not gaze into it if you are not the one in the memory. Otherwise, you have a high chance of suffering an intense psychological assault. Case studies. 2 reviewers have privately looked into this. One of them started saying nonsense and no longer knew their own identity, while another could only repeat the words, "Glory to Madame Herta." Researcher comments. The fixed point is the cream-white bow of ribbons. The Divergent series is like a necklace of daggers shining with a gold light. Convolution is like the wave of brunette hair, and fractals are the influence of bad mood. Infinity and infinitesimal are in a heated argument. So put them in diagonal stress, then pull them apart. Look, the most beautiful thing in all combinations is me. That's right, that's what that little girl said. Isn't it amazing? Ha 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 ha. So amazing. Who am I? Where am I? Statement from a reviewer. And then the next statement goes as follows. The large room full of dolls has equations and symbols I've never seen before floating in it. They grow limbs, pull faces, and dance around her. She will open a wardrobe as tall as a castle and pick clothes for them. They all have their own character and appear in different programs. When she finished calculating, my spirit instantly received a complete baptism. Glory to Madame Herta. Glory to Madame Herta. Glory to Madame Herta. Note. I saved as curious so it's easier to review my beauty as a young woman. If you want to see it so much, then it's not my fault. I'll give you some advice. Find some Intelligentsia Guild books to counteract the stuff in their heads for these 2 unfortunates. They'll recover in no time. De Herta. Story Part 2. Memorial Symposium celebrating Madame Herta's blanked birthday. Meeting Minutes, Topic 1. A retrospective of Madame Herta's scientific achievements, Meeting Minutes, Topic 2. Anecdotes and stories from Madame Herta's life. Meeting Minutes, Topic 5. Panel discussion on exploring the boundaries of science and its profound implications. Meeting Minutes, Provisional Topic. Moment of silence, breaking news from reliable media sources. Madame Herta has passed away. Meeting Minutes, Provisional Topic 2. Madame Herta makes an unexpected appearance and delivers a speech. Madame Herta's speech. Thank you all for your heartfelt condolences. Unfortunately, it seems I must disappoint some of you yet again. Are you Madame Herta? Is this a puppet? Did your paper on de-aging actually work? Madame Herta, we need an explanation. Madame Herta cleared her throat and lifted her scepter aloft. It's all thanks to magic. Madame Herta, hold on a moment. It's impossible. The de-aging concept is purely theoretical. We're light years away from actual application. Science? Can she even be called a scientist anymore? That's just absurd. Not to kill the vibe, but how do you always manage to make such a stunning entrance? Pretty amusing, isn't it? The press loves to churn out fake news for headlines, while the old-timers can't wait for me to bite the dust, hoping to prove my anti-aging theory is just a pipe dream. She switches off the conference video and calmly resumes her afternoon tea. All your theories have been shown to have potential. Yet, future scholars have never truly captured your essence, making replication impossible. The calm woman sips her tea. Logic, the so-called magic of youth Madame Herta mentions, is her biting satire. Deductive. The theory's core principles involve reversing energy and manipulating time, which requires exacting conditions. Computation. Her smile broadens as she slides a plum pastry across the Intellitron, cutting off its monologue. Some truths don't need to be spoken. Here, have a treat. Character Story Part 3. On the edge of the galaxy, within a desolate, lifeless star system, a mysterious tower flickers in and out of view amid a swirling vortex. I refuse to wear myself out in this sprawling mansion. She surveyed the vast, empty room, signaling the puppets to approach. With a series of cheerful clicks and whirls, they danced towards her. Madame Herta is a peerless gem. Madame Herta is a unrivaled genius. Madame Herta is an inimitable beauty. Enough already. Back to your tasks. She dismissed him with a wave of her hand. 3 to scrub the floors, 2 to tend the gardens, and 1... Brew some coffee. It's chilly today and I need something warm. The brown beans crunched under the grinder. Hot water washed over them, and the dark liquid joyfully bubbled. Madame Herta, you've received an inquiry from the Intelligentsia Guild. They're challenging your... Are they still fussing over my evident proof? Just send them a few canned replies from the list. Madame Herta, Interstellar Peace Corporation has sent an invitation. Tell them their gadgets don't interest me. Madame Herta, the University of Veritas Prime wishes to name you an honorary professor. Which institution is that again? Gradually, the puppets handled all mundane affairs, allowing her to vanish from the public eye. Secluding her at her tower's apex, she dismissed the external world to unravel the puzzles lingering in her thoughts. I wish to know... blank. Thus the first mirror came into being. I wish to know... blank. Thus the second mirror gleamed into existence. I wish to know... redacted. Thus the third mirror chimed succinctly. I wish to know... Thus the fourth mirror was formed with reverence. Her whereabouts remain a mystery, as did her reasons for shunning the limelight. Yet her provocative theories and speculations continue to stir endless discussions. A long time passes. After she's completed her extrapolations, she seems unsatisfied. There are no more problems left to solve. This, in itself, is the greatest problem. Are you saying the mirror understands perfectly? Why don't we create more problems? Character Story Part 4. Herta. The simulated universe has always been simulating the Aeons and asking them questions. This time we might as well let the Aeon ask me instead. It'd be great if their question have me at a loss of words. Herta. I need to get them out first. Simulated universe. Madame Herta broadcasts to the entire simulated universe to answer to the imaginary overflow. Question? Fail. Simulated universe. Madame Herta pinches her nose and broadcasts to the entire simulated universe a speech praising the Aeons. Fail. Herta. Boring, I'm leaving. Simulated universe. They appear in the blink of an eye. Their form looms vast like a deity, with gears and cables intricately entwined in sublime complexity. They observe, calculate, and seek to know everything. They give questions, conduct proofs, and obtain answers. They do nothing else. Simulated universe. They know too much. You can ask them anything. Humans are so ignorant before them. Those tiny amounts of experience and knowledge in your head. They are pitifully small in volume. Herta. So only knowers would give me some respect. Other humans view my thinking process as incomprehensible magic, and I view your thoughts in the same way. So, all-knowing being, ask me. Knowers. Redacted. Herta. Please speak human. Knowers. They do not respond and remain silent. Herta. I have nothing to say either. Simulated universe. You're instantly expelled by some force. The deepest secret of this universe is like an abyss with tentacles, dragging you into inescapable fear. Herta has been forcibly locked out. Simulated universe. Herta has relocked. Herta. Aha, I knew it was you. Nose. They said, haha. You bought that? Look. The computing power of the simulated universe is swarming here like the patterns of a rainbow lollipop. What? You're so sure that they won't reply with haha? Herta. Heh, because Droid Head would never answer. Questions and doubts are the essence of thought. There is nothing that is forbidden, nothing serves as a boundary, and nothing is regarded as its end. Unless they quit. Sorry, not quiet. Herta. But you can't just leave like this. As compensation, ask me a question, but no jokes allowed. Aha. Whenever mortals think, Droid Head would laugh. Would you like to become a masked fool for me? Let me glance at you. Herta. Get out. I want Idrila. An ancient simulated universe operation record. So, one of the things is that she has 4 mirrors, and according to what she wants to know, a mirror appears, so every mirror is unique. I think that would be interesting for the people that are wanting to play the game, the 3.0 updates. The character introduction itself, when you look at the character, is Esteemed Genius Society number 83, human, female, young, beautiful, attractive. It's said that she lives in the far edge of the cosmos, almost never leaving. Sounds like her appearance this time. Must be for some issue that requires a personal touch, right? As you can see, you do meet her in the game, so I would recommend trying her out before you actually get her. Most of the builds also require you to use one of her puppets with her. If you click on a character and you check the builds and things like that for it, one of the suggested builds has the Herta puppets as the damage dealer, the DPS. So, for the terms, there are 2 terms that got added. Since I already clicked on it, seems like they got moved down. There it is. Amphorus, or Amphorius, is a location. Amphorius, the eternal land, is a segmentum hidden deep in the cosmos. It is severed from the outside and is difficult for anyone to detect or encounter. Standard interstellar navigation can barely perceive its existence, let alone pass through or arrive at the world itself. Akivili, the trailblaze, had traversed myriad worlds, pioneered into unknown lands, and connected countless worlds. For their followers, exploring the edge of the unknown in the depths of the cosmos is their paramount duty. Using the special technology from the Garden of Recollection's mirror, the Aswa Express will arrive at Amphorius for the first time to initiate their trailblazing journey and tries their best to reveal the truth behind the 3 paths. There is another one. I'm quickly trying to find it again. Since I clicked on it before, it seems to have gotten rid of it. I think since Herta was also there, I don't really see any of the other ones. I think it was Herta. I think it was the Herta character that got added. If not, just leave a comment and I'll read it as well. Herta. Scholars can usually leave their names and history with one great achievement. Herta, however, had countless achievements. I think I already read this one. Herta is no exception. Yeah, I already read this one. But there was a second concept that got added. But I don't immediately see it. Scholar Strife? No. Oh yeah, there's a new thing. This is it, I think, because at the start of the story, you travel with the Astra Express, right? You travel to the new system, as said here in Amphorius. But we need to land on the planet. There's no way for us to actually go with the train towards it. There's no railway system, as in, for example, the other parts that you go to already have the track that you can ride on. Amphorius, on the other hand, does not, which means that we still have to go to the country, go to the land, go to the planet, have to put down anchors and try and make or trailblaze a path towards it. Because there is no way to actually get on the planet with just the train in general, we have to go with some sort of landing pod. This is the Astral Express coach. In standard trailblazing expeditions, the Express crew uses secure and stable landing pods to descend to designated coordinates. However, in exceptional trailblazing expeditions, the Astral Express detaches its last coach to serve as a landing pod. This coach is equipped with ample life support resources, ensuring that the Nameless can use it as a safe house for operations after landing. According to the Express records, Tusslehead Bob, the Astral Express navigator, frequently used the detached coach method for landing. The recovery rate for the detached coaches was only 42.4%, and if the recovered coaches 100% required repairs. The detached coach landing method has been explicitly prohibited by the conductor since then, only to be used as a special backup plan in extremely rare circumstances. So the thing is, Amphorius is, we can't get to it. It's really hard to get to, and the only way to get there is by actually landing on the planet. Sorry for the music being a bit loud. So the only way for us to get there is by landing on the planet, which means that we need to detach the last coach, you need to pack your belongings, and you need to try and land that thing as safely as possible on the planet before you can actually put the anchors down that would make it possible for you to traverse with the train itself. By the end of the story, on the other hand, this is one of the things that you unlock. So the whole story revolves around the Trailblazer's path. This is what it looks like. These are characters that I've met, and I've done a couple of stories for them. And they need to get to the middle. So, as you can see, there's quite a bit of still need to be discovered. This is the Saga of Heroes. These are the different contents that I have unlocked. So there are 5 characters that we met so far. The Triplets of Faith, the Nameless Hero, the Weaver of Gold, the Last Prince, and the Servant of Death. Each character has their own personalities, their own story, and their own point in time that they appear. Of all of the characters, I like 2 of them. I like the Servant of Death and the Nameless Hero. Servant of Death mostly feels like a lonely character. First, the Triplets of Faith. You can write stories by completing quests for them, and then you get like a thing that you can go to write story with. It will be a star symbol like this. You drag and drop it on the book, and you can create a story for a character that you get assigned. Sometimes when you have a story thing, you can create it for multiple characters. So be sure to click on everything, because that will help you unlock this Saga of Heroes book. First things first, Triplets of Fate, the Guiding Lights. In a corner of Okima, the newly arrived traveler stops for a moment. He rubs his eyes. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 identical children? The 3 children have different smiles. One is beaming, one is a shrewd grin, and one is smiling serenely. Yet each of them looks just as mysterious as the other 2. Stranger, welcome to the Holy City. We will show you the way forward. Tribios. This name has not been mentioned for some time. Only the elderly priests of Janusopolis know the true significance of this name. High Priest, please guide us once again as we spread our wings on this long journey. As music from his hometown plays, the smiling children gather around the old man. They wish that the twilight breeze would carry away all tales of sadness. The end times loom like a dark cloud, hanging over the holy city's residents and shrouding them with worry. Hello, do you need our help? Like torches dancing in the wind, the children illuminate the alley. They wipe away the women's tears. Babies sleep amidst whispers. On the windowsill of those in prayer, their light footprints remain. The citizens call them the 3 pillars of Okima. Yet they simply shake their heads. There's no need to be so somber. How about we play a game together? Guess who we are? The 3 soared and landed in front of the townsfolk. You're Trian, an old man says. No, we're Trinon. Trinon is the quietest of the trio. Are you Trinon? A girl asks. Wrong, we're actually Trian. Trian is the most spirited of the trio. Then you must be Tribi, a child shouts. You're right, good job. Tribi is as enthusiastic as she is adorable. It matters not whether they can tell the trio apart. Of most importance is their sincere smiles. We will show you the path to take. The children fly ahead, guiding the lost back to the main road. So you literally show people the right path to take? You're lucky. You merely took a wrong turn. The children flew before me. It was rare to see them so quiet. However, there are many more unfortunate souls who have lost their lives or their direction in life. It immediately goes on to the next thing, but I want to say the title for you guys. Laughter and Lament. Laughter and Lament is the title. There was once a dying soldier on the battlefield who wished to bid farewell to his lover in a distant city far away. The child leaned toward the soldier and said nary a word, as she listened to his final words of comfort. As for the other 2 children, they were in the city beside a bed upon which a woman was lying in eternal rest, wailing uncontrollably. Not only do the 3 children share each other's senses, their souls are also interconnected. When one is filled with grief, the other 2 will burst into tears as well. Perhaps we should tell you some happy tales instead. The child wipes away her tears of reminiscence. Our greatest talent is performing Amphoria's nursery rhymes. But those nursery rhymes have been told over and over, that any literate child could recite them by heart. How rude! The child gently flicks my forehead. You should be reflecting on the nursery rhyme's author's heartfelt intentions instead. In this lush land by God's chosen, giants raise their glasses in a toast. People commonly see the children riding on enormous flaming torches, looking like shooting stars blazing through the holy city. How dangerous! An old man worriedly wishes the children to stop. Not Trian, the quiet child shakes her head. That's Trian! The exuberant child raises her hands. Ah, stop nagging! The mischievous child pouts. Can't I just play with something that I've created? Every child in the world loves to play, and Tribios is no exception. Every child in the world is afraid of pain, yet Tribios tries to act tough. Initially, there were many more of us. The others have merely gone one step ahead. The children swore they were already adults, yet when they ceaselessly hit the city gates, they cried out in pain together. The tripartite prophecy is but a distant ritual, and the Chrysos War a painful dream. Echoes from the Gate of Infinity occasionally jolt her awake, and the distant travels of her identical sisters sometimes inspire uncertainty within her. A new journey only begins when the previous one comes to an end. Despite time marching forward endlessly, the children always manage to stay true to their hearts. They are all that remains of one another, their senses intertwined, their souls in communion. So, there's 3 girls. All 3 of them look a little bit different. One of them even has a thing over her eyes that prevents her from seeing things. The characters themselves are actually kind of cute, but I don't know. My favorite still goes over to the Servant of Death because of how she acts. I'm going over them according to the numbers, by the way. So 2 to 6 are still 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't click on it. There's nobody there. I need to still continue it. See? Progress the Trailblaze mission and gain nameless recollections to unlock the chapter. So these things, you need to do the actual main quests for them to actually unlock that shard of it. Next. The Nameless Hero. The Lost Voyage. In Amphorius, untitled statues are a prevalent sight. As for the inspiration behind these statues, they are said to be clay figures that Kefali made at the world's creation. They made clay figures in their likeness, bestowed upon them the breath of life, and allowed the golden divinity of their blood to course through. Thus, the very first mortals roamed the earth, receiving the god's mercy while realizing the sorrows of this world. In front of a statue, the people of the holy city beheld a man, Phainon of Idas Elysiae. He never spoke of his origins, only using his name to nonchalantly identify himself. That's not really his name, is it? People cast sidelong glances at him, their minds swirling with doubt. The man merely responds with a breezy smile, neither confirming nor disproving their speculation. Phainon is a soldier, one with divinity coursing through his veins. Responding to the Goldweaver's rally call, he traveled long and far to reach the holy city, eager to bring light to the hero's path. Losses are a constant on the flame-chased journey, where life too seems as small as a speck of dust. Ballads reached him through the breeze as those soft voices meant for him, and he responds in kind. No matter, my existence is of little consequence. Idas Elysiae, the man's hometown, shrouded in secrecy just like his path. Some have searched for that distant village, yet found it neither written about nor passed down through song. In every nostalgic reflection, the man crafted a vision of paradise with his exquisite poetry. Yet within the ancient texts of the holy city, the history of that frontier village remains more obscure than the days to come. In the far-off future, the land of Amphorius will bear the marks of the hero's footsteps. With sword in hand, the man will inscribe an eternal mark on the Chrysos epic, yet his real name may never be heard in this world again. Losses are a constant on the flame-chased journey, some too losing themselves at the very beginning of their journey. 9. The Weaver of Gold. Chapter 1. Seam of Thread and Cloth. Okima, a city that warriors look back upon before marching toward the battlefield, the holy city, the sanctuary of all citizens. Just as the poets of the city have sung, the epitome of magnificence, a bounded benevolence, and the beauty of the holy city is like Aglaia herself, dressed in finery and of noble birth. She is the dressmaker of Okima, the one who weaves with gold threads. But there's one thing she'll never be able to achieve. A jealous whisper can be heard. She will never be able to produce something seamless. Golden threads quiver, and the gentle wind rustles by her ear. She maintains her silence, but others fan the flames. Is that so hard? Her scissors and rulers are better than any garment maker, sculpting forms as perfect as the gods themselves. Lady Aglaia, grace our eyes with your most elegant creation. No. Ingratiating words do not sit well with me, nor do duplicitous situations. Her gaze flits across the stoa, equally regarding every member of the public. They used to wonder, how exactly do her eyes perceive if something is beautiful or not? As with the holy city that's perpetually bathed in light, how do people tell apart cozy mornings and frosty nights? For the weaver, the answer lies in her golden threads. Golden threads of the goddess of romance now serve as her hands and eyes. The colors of the world, intertwined with the undertones of human hearts, come flooding toward her. These golden threads are no less prideful than the master they now belong to. As long as the thread has form, it is enough to craft seamless finery, be it stitched finely and tightly, or cut cleanly with a single stroke. Hardly a challenge. None of these pose a challenge. The rhyme rolls off like seams, like a soft sigh from her lips. The one who weaves gold gazes past me, fixed on something much farther. The network of threads that intertwine all between heaven and earth. The only challenge that she relentlessly dedicates herself to is weaving the fate of Okima into a flawless, seamless outcome. Chapter 2. Pity of Emptiness and Regrets. A long line stretched across the square. Merchants, shopkeepers, and even high society elite, all lined up together without distinction. At the head of the line was the path to Aglaia's abode. Is the holy city's fashion trendsetter going to reveal her newest masterpiece? She's about to get rid of her failed pieces. Now I see why the holy city is free of worries. Even as the end nears, they're still obsessed with lavish clothing. New to Okima, a visitor from elsewhere ends up utterly bewildered at the sight. It is said that a family of priests who worship Mnestia go way back with the weaver, but her impeccable gift for weaving isn't meant to serve anyone's pursuit for pleasure. What was once a sacred duty was misunderstood by the beauty-obsessed who mistook fallen shreds for priceless treasures. Are flawed creations really still worth the people's adoration? The weaver shakes her head. She seems to have forgotten something. It is precisely the flawed hero who walks ahead of the crowd, who casts a long shadow over the world, and who strides towards everlasting daylight. There are, nevertheless, people whom the Weaver is willing to sue and tailor for. Her conditions are beauty, sharp as a blade, and the pursuit of beauty. Me! I want to be showered with a thunderous ovation and lots of flowers. A melodramatic poet speaks out. I want to stir her emotions, the voice of a blushing young boy. Do I fit the bill? My sister and I are refugees from the abyss. I want to get a pair of shoes for her. A seated child speaks up. Next to him is a barefooted child, staying silent with her head kept low. Unfortunately, gold threads are willful things. They are never swayed by sympathy or pity. A tense and worried look surfaces on the young child's countenance. The specks of dirt on his face brought back memories of a past encounter. Go, the Weaver begins. Go to the 3 children in the city. As messenger of Janus, they will bring him the shoes he hopes for. Number 10, The Last Prince, a name bathed in blood. Among the soldiers there was the famed city-state Kremnos, a place every warrior longed for. To be crowned champion of the Kremnos festival was an honor that only the cream of the crop could attain. There is no glory to be found in an accolade only obtainable through slaughter. A man blocks my way. His name is Medeiros, Crown Prince of Kremnos. Despite being a man of few words, news of his deeds had traveled far and wide. His tale is an extraordinary one, they say. Cast off a cliff by his father at birth, he plunged into the Sea of Souls and drifted for 9 years. Ha! He managed to survive all of that. Even the god of death turned him away. An immortal body, a gift bestowed upon the man. As with every other crisis heir in Amphoreus, a blessing, yet also his curse. The taciturn man is seated at the table, expecting me to break the silence. Before us is a cup filled to the brim with crimson liquid. People consider it a Kremnonian tradition to sustain their bodies with fresh blood. In popular legends, everybody on the battlefield was taken. Arrogant amateur historian. He sees straight through the pretense, his gaze as keen and fierce as a lion's. This is pomegranate juice, the man scoffs. The reason it's called a wild tale is because Castrum Kremnos has long vanished. When their god descended into madness, the city likewise became shrouded in fog. Rumor has it that during the final battle of Castrum Kremnos, this man too took to the battlefield, cutting down countless foes fighting in a sea of blood. He drove his spear through the heart of the enemy king, yet the tip of that spear was directed at his own homeland. A chatter breaks out among the people and the man rises to leave. The truth of such rumors, he speaks only through his distant silhouette. A silhouette of a body that has withstood endless trials and faced death innumerable times but bore not a single mark. Medeiros, a hero of yore, now a traitor to the Kremnos, the patricidal crown prince. So he had to kill his dad, I guess, because he... So the last prince is from Kremnos. We encounter him. He killed his dad because he descended into madness, because he had split apart his soul. The Weaver of Gold is a blind woman. She uses her threads of gold to actually see. It's not really explained how she sees, but she uses the threads to feel emotions and hear what people think. The nameless hero is a guy that we also encounter, and he just tries to help people when he finds them. The triplets of faith we also encounter. We encounter one of them at first. They're nice and try to help people as well in the best they can. The servant of death, on the other hand, you only encounter later on, I think halfway through almost. She's a very lonely character, but I do like her appearance. She looks like a black butterfly with a lot of purple details. It's really pretty. Custerus is her name. And the story is Twirling in Fallen Bloom. I see a sword that grants death, a shackle of destiny next to the silver-haired girl, worshipped at the demise's hallow. The sword stained with unknown blood, lying scattered and snapped. The shackle chained pale wrists dotted in thickening rust. The priest asks with a shaking voice, upon whose fingertips will the butterfly perch? The girl never answers, like death itself, wreathed in silent solemnity. People often say that dying is to meet the palm of the hand of shadow, and dreaming is to be brushed by their fingers a little. In the mirages, when the girl petted death, she sees black waterfalls foaming and bellow, pouring down from a chasm in the sky where a solitary tower withstands torrents sallow. When she wakes, she can still feel the water's freezing touch and the cacophonies billow, like the wail of the dead, the howl of beasts, in confusion, delirium, and clamors hello. Hello? Hello? The girl's embrace is not meant for the living. Thousands have entered the eternal sleep in her arms, granting to the deaf solace and dignity. She mentions a ferocious warrior feared in battle. She did not go with a smile, but to me she cursed. "O life's end, how ugly you are, how despicable!" And from that day on she adorned herself. Her dress, white as the radiant moon, became always dotted with flowery petals. For if death cannot be avoided, so says the girl, I wish it could contain beauty more plentiful. As you can see in the picture on the right here, she is walking towards enemies, and she leaves petals of like black purple flowers behind her. Among the manifold rites about death, the ones she knows with most intimacy are burial rites. One burial of unfamiliar countenance after another wherever she presided, from the angelic visage of a babe passed in the cradle to the despairing eyes of the mother drowning in sorrow, from the scars on a war-battered general's torso to the unending tears pouring from his bereft widow. Yet she remembers not a single living human she had seen. Even in the mirror she thinks her own face strange with an alien glow. In the countless words buried in forgetfulness, the only thing she manages to glean is a mockery to fate, a sarcastic whistle. Stay alive. When she casts aside the shackles and steps beyond Idonia, a déjà vu, most violence seizes her whole. Did she perchance conduct some previous escape? Illusions danced across her eyes. She had once drifted in an endless river, then drove her single boat out of the deluge. She had wandered in the battlefield covered in corpses, then recovered the path back to life. Why must she escape over and over again? She now knows the answer and quivers, for it is a ludicrous surmise. The woman, embodying death, walks this world, only because she knows she must stay alive. But alas, at that time she knows not, that death is not the end. It is only a butterfly landing on a withered branch, utterly meaningless, profoundly trite. These character stories are actually really sad sometimes. Every story that you do progresses this a little bit. As you can see, if you click on it, you can get more story about these characters. So, first things first, I'm going from the bottom and then alongside how the book went. So, Triplets of Faith, Tribios. Paths lit to so far. The children have walked far too long, and their footsteps once filled with doubt. The tears shed at partings also caused them to lower their sight. The favorite child of fate tried to forsake fate. Does a fragrant land truly exist at the end of the west wind? The three children link hands and disappear in the thousand doors, leaving only echoes that grow ever faint. There is no need for fate to respond. The Nameless Hero, Paths lit so far. 1. When the world's end descends, a hero raised a sword glinting in the setting sun and challenged the night that approached dusk. His heart pulsed with the brilliance of stars, and his eyes blazed like a fallen sun, casting silver needles upon the scarred path. He shrouded his name in obscurity, burying the past in a homeland frozen in memory, and vowing to defend the new dawn, even if that dawn would consume all in its fire. Weaver of Gold, Aglaya. Paths lit so far 2. The holy city that sees no night seems as eternal as the demigod of the chrysalis of gold. Sight is now a burden to her eyes, as the golden threads around her fingertips pass her countless songs of murmurs and blood, the speech of humanity buried in the dust. Dreams are fabrics of thousands of possibilities, and so is the future woven from the threads of destiny. The weaver lays down her head in dreams, and in that dream she spies a gold even more bright. The Last Prince, Medemos. Paths lit so far 1. His home had long been covered in dust. Like that perilous city named Kremnos, the man's past is equally veiled in shadows. Only his infamy as the Kingslayer is recounted in echoes. His immortal and woundless body barred all swords and blades and also dispelled curiosity and peeking gaze. Instead, look at his road, for that is the only way to scry into his fighting heart. He inflamed the path ahead with fire, and his road home shall be paved in blood. Servant of Death, Castris. Paths lit so far, 1. The glorious age falls and crumbles, and even death must seek a home. She passed through Idonia, and souls wailed in her palms, yet there was no hatred in those sounds. Is glory equally prized to death? To seek this answer, she never stopped her steps. After a journey that lasted a millennium, she still does not know where her corpse should call home. As you can see, these are the characters you encounter. These are not yet lit because we haven't encountered them yet. You also, if you write stories, you can also unlock these things. See, so I've gotten all of the possible sagas. I've gotten all of the collectible flame chasers as well. So I've finished everything that I can from this. So these are the only ones available at this point in time. On the release, really. There's also a new version of your character. The Mimo Sprite. Mem. I think, let me quickly do something. If I go to characters, you can go to characters and use the build guide. This is what I meant with the team stuff. You can also like make teams and stuff like that with that. Databank. Characters. Yeah, Lima is the first remembrance. So your main character will become the first remembrance. But I named her Lima, which is like my nickname, so. But the first remembrance character is your main character. And the thing that she does is she has like a cute little animal. But I would recommend, instead of listening to it here, to just play the story. You'll meet the character. It's actually really cute. So far it's kind of handy as well, in my opinion. And these are, by the way, the sculptures and statues that they meant. Meh, meh. There's a couple of things in this screen that you will encounter. I would recommend actually like going through the map, trying to discover everything, because some of these are really, really cool. There are also points where I would recommend actually like looking through every nook and cranny, interacting with everything you can. Like actually definitely do so. But yeah, this is it for this update, I guess you could call it. The 3.0 update. Everything that was in here. It's a bit loud as well though. Let me see if I can turn it down a bit. There. The background was a little bit loud. So this is the end of the 3.0 update of everything that I've unlocked so far. Whenever I encounter something, I think I might have missed some databank entries, for example. Yeah, there's some databank entries that I have missed, but I'm going to read them in another one. Because this is already getting pretty long. It's 45 minutes. So I'm going to read all of these in the other one. And I'm going to see if I can find any other things that might be interesting for you guys. Because I'm pretty sure they added extra things to these as well. There were a couple of things like, what's it called? There were a couple things that were mentioned throughout the story that I want to try and find so I can read them all without any delay for you guys. So I'll do that in the next one, but this is the first update of everything that was in the 3.0. So thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions or you know where I can find some of the data that I didn't read yet, please let me know. I'll see you guys next time.